Okay, here's my thoughts on the Man United game. I thought we were going to get thumped, even though it was at Goodison. Just felt like Man United were in a little bit better form than us and would take advantage of our midfield issues. Even though Gomez is back, uh, they got that new midfielder Fernandez, and creative midfielder always causes teams problems. So I felt like that would be an Achilles heel for us. But despite his goal, he caused us some problems, but he wasn't necessarily the issue we had today. And it was good seeing Gomez back in there. He did well, just keeping players off of him, keeping the ball at his feet long enough to find the pass. I think he's excellent at that. I don't know many other teams who have a player like that can do it. So he even was shoving Fernandez off, and I hear they're good friends. So it's cool to see him, not let that lessen his game, being out there with his buddy. Anyway, the team did their best to dispel any reason to be pessimistic with the first goal. That was pretty funny. I never seen anything like that. Not sure why De Gea took so long to pick out a pass, if it was a consequence of just the way we were shaped up in the midfield or something, but it worked out to our advantage because DCL closed him down and then deflected the ball right in the net. It was cool. But after that, we just sort of let Man U slowly get into the game, and they pretty much controlled the first half. Bruno Fernandes ends up, getting at us with a 30-yard goal that Pickford probably should have had. I don't know. I'm not a goalie. I don't know how hard it is to get that low and get my hands exactly where I need to be, diving. So it definitely is harder than it looks. But if you're a professional goalie, maybe fans and people like me expect you to be able to make it. It's neither here nor there at this point. He let it in. So then the second half, given that we were struggling so much in the first half, the second half, it was good to see the team come out and just possess the ball, because Man U were... I was expecting a bit more coherence to their midfield. They had that somewhat in the first half. The second half, it went away, and we were the ones sort of controlling the ball. I wouldn't say it was all from the midfield, but we were controlling the ball in our way, since we don't have a midfield. And we do now with Gomez. So anyway, just decent front foot soccer. And couldn't really get on the end of anything, really. There were a couple chances. I think there was at least a couple headers Richarlison should have been on the end of. And it's good seeing, Sigurdsson at least try to get the ball in good places. He had a better than last week game, but it wasn't that great this week either. But it wasn't invisible. You just could see, I remember thinking, you can just tell, like, he's not cut out to play midfield for this formation we have, because he was constantly chasing players. He's always just a couple steps behind the guy, and he just doesn't have that speed and agility to do it. So, but when he did get on the ball, it was okay. So anyway, I don't want to bash Sigurdsson. What else happened? Really, nothing. Other than us possessing the ball and getting some chances, nothing great happened until the end, where Pickford did have an awesome save and kept it at 1-1. It could have easily been 2-1 them off of a double save. As bad as the goal he let in earlier, he equally made up for that with, I think he blocked, he knocked one ball that was headed toward the top corner or something out, and then it fell to maybe Martial or something, and he got his foot out just enough to block that shot, which is just uber agility and reflexes. That's what he's good at, it seems. So kudos to him. With Southgate and with Gary Southgate, whatever, the England coach in the stands, that probably made him look a little bit better, or feel a little bit better about Pickford being in net for the country team. So But on to the last little bit there, where there's a little controversy. Like, I kind of almost wish this didn't happen because I was just settling into being cool with a draw when at about 91 minutes in, Calvert-Lewin gets on the end of a ball bouncing around in the box. So the exact way this happened, I can't really remember because I haven't watched it back a whole bunch, but Gylfi Sigurdsson being on the floor, apparently in the way of the goalie. I don't know if that could really be if that's really the case, but caused us to get a goal taken away. I mean, I thought we had scored at the 0 minutes, and we're about to win the game, and got all excited thinking we stole 3 points, and then it gets taken away by VAR. Like, usually it's back. We're back to having bad luck with VAR again. But at first I kind of thought, yeah, it was offsides. Maybe he interfered. But the more I listened to the pundits at the end of the game, like the post-game, breakdown, and then seeing Ancelotti all upset, the more angry I started to get because I just realized more and more slowly that we had been robbed, because at this point, you can look at it and see clearly, like, Gylfi Sigurdsson being offside or in an offside position had nothing to do with De Gea not being able to save that ball. He was never going to be able to get to it because it was deflected from his own player. He had already committed to one direction. It hits his player, and he's out of the play. And kudos to Gylfi, he was heads up enough to even get out of the way so that the ball couldn't touch him. But instead of being rewarded for that, he's penalized, and we don't even get the goal. So that was just stupid. I mean, immediately all the little conspiracy theories come to your head, and you think, oh, Everton's a team that's allowed to be unlucky, right? If the shoe was on the other foot, they would have overturned it. But I actually think what probably happened is the ref or the behind the scenes ref, whoever ruled it, just didn't take his time to break down what was actually happening. Because if you're sort of coerced or told you need to make quick decisions, you don't want to delay the momentum of the game, which is questionable because the game is almost over, so there's a momentum's ebbing away anyway. So he just didn't really take his time to look to see what's going on, because I think what I've benefited from is actually just being able to see it over and over and look at it in slow-mo and go, oh yeah, which he had that benefit too, but he didn't use it, which is unfortunate because we got screwed. If you just sat there, been calm, reasoned it out, and been like, oh yeah, Gylfi is there, but he had no effect on the ball getting in the net. He wasn't in De Gea's line of sight. He was De Gea standing over Sigurdsson, who's sitting flat on his bottom. And he'd already committed to one direction. He couldn't have let Gylfi moving his leg out of the way, couldn't have thrown him off. He was already thrown off. So he really doesn't have any way to say Sigurdsson affected the goal. But whatever. I mean, it's sort of typical for us this season to not get any calls. I mean, I know that's not true because there's been maybe one call that went in our favor, but it should have went in our favor. It's like we never get the benefit of the doubt with VAR. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised about that. But whatever, we got a point. We're still in 11th, and I think we play Chelsea next away. I think they got beat. No, they didn't get beat. They drew with Bournemouth. So they're not riding high, but still probably better at positions where we are weakened, if that makes any sense. So they have a better coherent midfield, with Mason Mount, and Williams always a problem. I hate going up against him. I do like watching him play, but he always scares me, and I don't know if he's hurt or not, but it's Chelsea, so it'll be hard to play there, and there's going to be all the rumblings of we haven't won at Stamford Bridge in however many years. I don't really care about all that because every season's different, and maybe because it's been so long, you could argue that it's not different for us for some reason, but I just think it is. Every team has its chance to go in and smoke a team, no matter how good or bad they are in their own stadium. That's it. Hope we can get 3 points next season or next game, next week, and up the Toffees.